What's up, everybody? I'm Goody. Welcome back to the Guitar Corner number 14, The Genius of Prince. This isn't a Prince song per se, but I'm going to try to approximate some of his magic that I've heard over the years. We'll make a little loop and then we'll tell some Prince stories. I want to hear your Prince stories. It's gonna be fun. Here we go. Got the flanger ready. I ended up on the Bell telephone pickup. Got them wired to the regular, and then over here, this went out on the road, and I just kept it because it was so nasty. All right, y'all. Man, that flanger's fun. I got a Electro Harmonics Big Muff for the distortion, then I got like a $2 Behringer pedal for that flange, because that's the only time I'm going to use that. But man, I can't give you my my love of Prince without hitting that flanger pedal like he did especially in some of those 80s and early 90s recordings. Okay, folks, I'm gonna have to contain myself on this one so it doesn't go too long for you, because I don't know if I've been influenced by, I tell my little Kiss stories and stuff, but nobody's influenced me as a musician, and as far as looking at a musical career and art as much as Prince has. One of my first cassette tapes back in Detroit, Michigan, was Prince 1999. Now, I was listening to Queen, Flash Gordon, I had my Kiss records, but up until I found my dad's Motown records, this was the first time that I'd really heard like funk and soul and just all these genres being thrown together. Prince was so fearless with that. I would put that tape in my mama's car. I think it was 1999 was the first song. Let's Pretend We're, Little Red Corvette was on there. Like the fourth song on there was called Let's Pretend We're Married. And man, I don't care. I'm like a 9-year-old kid, and this stuff was like, it was dirtier than Penthouse. He's like, Marsha, I just want to, and he starts talking about what he's going to do to this woman. This comes on in the car, and my mother is like, what? Take this thing. So I go home. If y'all are old school, you may remember this. You could put Scotch tape over the top of the cassette, and you could record over like, a real cassette. So I recorded out all these bits where he's swearing and saying all this crazy stuff, and I got to play it in the car. But I listened to that thing till the felt fell off of it. And I was so lucky that was one of the things I got into, because it's all there. He took Jimi Hendrix nasty guitar playing, Marvin Gaye's soul, James Brown's dance moves. He could sing 5 octaves. He could play 50 instruments. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who were incredible producers and proteges of his in Minneapolis, they said, the thing about Prince is, whatever you think your first instrument is, a Prince, that could be his third instrument, and he played it better than you. There's nothing he couldn't do. You know, people don't know a lot of times, because I got some Prince haters out there. First of all, my wife, she's like, no, I'm not doing it. I asked her, I said, baby, I'm gonna make this little Prince video. Have you changed your mind on Prince? She goes, the only thing I can say about Prince is I found out that you know, your bromance with Carter Halsey, Carter doesn't really like Prince either, so at least I'm not alone. I was like, oh, you guys are killing me. If you listen to, man, it's like when people say, I don't like Bob Dylan. Like, you might not like Bob Dylan's voice, but if you listen to like Knocking on Heaven's Door, Guns N' Roses, I mean, the amount of things that he wrote for other people, just that alone. Okay, think about it. Prince, Bangles, just another manic Monday. You hear it, you're like, oh yeah, of course that's a Prince song. Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You. That's one of the most beautiful songs ever written. He kills that thing. He used to kill that thing live. Wrote for Kenny Rogers, Sheena Easton, Sheila E. She wants to live a glamorous life. That song is so funky, and you can hear him in it. Once you know, you can hear him in it. He's inspired entire people's careers. I mean, no disrespect, Bruno Mars, but some of those Bruno Mars songs are straight up Prince songs. If you listen to like Sign of the Times, there's so many genres on there. D'Angelo, Voodoo is one of the coolest records ever, and he gave it up, and he just admits a lot of this is Prince stuff. The Ballad of Dorothy Parker, you want to go deep, check out Erotic City, the bass on there. Plus, he would take 24-track tapes before any of us had our crazy whammy pedals and everything. He'd throw his voice up into other characters, record slow on the guitar so it was higher than the frets we have. Yeah, Ballad of Dorothy Parker is like, it opened up a whole other genre as far as I'm concerned. Just incredible. He would take a Linn drum machine, plug the guitar straight in to the board. I mean, just like, it's funkier when there's nothing on it. Just like monophonic, like straight in preamp and nothing, and layer those guitars, and it was just another world. So anyway, I'm gonna get moving to some stories here. I could go on forever about the little intricacies of different things. I got all my Prince bios that I've read, and a lot of them are terrible. Prince didn't always tell you. He wanted the mystery. We found out after he passed away how much he gave to charity, and of course there's a bazillion more songs in the vault, and I can't wait to hear them all. You know, I didn't get to see him in New York when he did his, it was just him and the piano or him and an acoustic guitar. Endless amount of songs, endless amount of talent. It's just crazy. All right, so let me tell you a couple Prince stories. I think this episode is from my man Chief Justice Jason Coker out there, who was maybe the only other person besides me that was this obsessed with his Purple Majesty. We used to trade bootlegs and hang out. But back in the day, when my man Jesse and Chief and I were rolling around, this was the pre-Billy Driver and the band, everybody's answered rock and roll prayers. Chief got us tickets, and he got his dad's van. It was new too, man. It had the high top. We're like cruising around. We couldn't even believe it. We went to the Keel Center in St. Louis. You know, I always got to do a little show and tell. And I have never seen a show this good in my entire life. It was otherworldly. I mean, this venue was coming off the freaking ground. And at the end, he flips up all the lights. Give me the lights. I want to see everybody. Age 1 through 99. Actually, I'm going to say 102 for my great aunt Esther. Age 1 through 102. Black, white, purple, yellow, red, gay, bi, les, straight. I don't care what you do. You have somebody who's an accountant and somebody who's sleeping outside in a tent that jumped into the gig. Everybody's getting along. Everybody is on the same wavelength. For a minute, we were all just being elevated by the magic of this man and his band. Prince had the best freaking musicians. He brought some of the most amazing. We got to open up for the Revolution. After Prince passed away, the Revolution came and did a show in Wichita, Kansas, and played all the tunes and everything. We met Wendy and Lisa. Back in the day, Jesse and I used to talk all the time about Michael B., one of the funkiest drummers. I mean, some of the people that Prince brought into the fold of pop music. It's just absolutely unbelievable. So cut to 1999, just like the record. This is 1999. It's Jesse and I think it was Sean Fanning on the bass guitar. Anyway, we played at a place in Minneapolis called Gus Lucky's Art Bar. Now, this is a long time ago. I think there were probably 30 people at this little club / art bar. We get done. It's late. And man, thanks to whoever was running the place, because they said, hey, if you're a Prince fan, Prince is in town and he's been playing every night at his club out there at Paisley Park. You want me to give you the address? We could not get the stuff in the van and start traipsing through the snow fast enough. We drive probably another hour or two. I fall asleep in the back. I think Jesse's driving is like, Gooby, look! It is this, out of the snow of the Minneapolis fields in the middle of nowhere, is this freaking, it's like all these white panels, but they project purple from the ground on it. So it looks like 2001 Prince Space Odyssey. it's otherworldly. We run up to the door. We hear the club just going. And we're trying to get in. We were broke as a joke. And the biggest bouncer you ever seen, he's like, it's getting pretty late. I think it was like 3 a.m. at this point. And I'm like, how much longer is he going to play? And he's like, I don't know. There's no telling. But the fee is $19.99. Of course it was, right? So he's like, are you really Prince fans? I start freaking out. I'm like, he's starting to play She's Always in My Hair. That's the best song. That's Off Side of the Tide. He's like, just calm down, young man. Calm down. He lets us in for free. We've been driving and we've been on the road forever. So we got to use the restroom. We run in. Jesse's like, I'm using Prince's soap. I'm like, I'm talking about Prince's gold faucets. And we're like freaking out. We sound like stalkers, but we're freaking out. We run into the club. There's a lot of people, but it's not so crazy that you can't get up close. We get up close, and here's for you guitar nerds, for us guitar nerds out there, check this out. First of all, the man's like 4 feet tall, but when you're watching him play and he starts going crazy, I mean, forget it, man. He might as well be 100 feet tall and bulletproof. He's got this stage with these grates, and I'm like, I'm hearing all these incredible sounds, but I don't see any amps. What he's done is his amps are underneath the stage through the grates facing him. And his pedal board is this crazy futuristic spaceship, and it's his handwriting. The fact that I know that's kind of scary and sad, but it's just these like pieces of duct tape with purple writing, and instead of it being pedals, it's adjectives. And it says sick, purple, funk, saved, clouds, unicorn, all these crazy, just weird words. And when he's playing, he will hit one of these little buttons and the different amps will light up underneath the stage, different pedals will go off. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Our man, Matt Wallace, who we got to make a record with, Building the Sun, Matt's done so many incredible records. He told us the story. Matt, if I'm screwing this up, man, come and get me. But he was working at Paisley Park back in the day. And he said that he was on one of these just crazy all-night sessions. And he thought Prince was out of town. And so there's this fridge over besides the control room. And he gets real hungry. He's like, man, I just got to get a little something out of this fridge. So he comes, he takes a plate of food out of the refrigerator. And all of a sudden he starts hearing these little heels clicking. Apparently Prince had come back. And so Matt like hides out. And Prince goes to the refrigerator door and he opens it up. And he goes, $7 million and I can't get something to eat in my own house. I freaking love it. Okay, one more. This is for my man Josh Jackson out there. One of Jesse and Josh freaking are thick as thieves. Josh is an amazing, he's a great harmonica player and just an amazing human being. I don't know if Josh was at a Prince show or if he was just rocking Prince at a party, but he came home, he'd had a little bit to drink, and he passed out with Prince on his CD player on a loop, loud in this apartment building. The next morning, I think somebody had tried to wake him up in the middle of the night. He opens the door and there's a sheet of paper that says, Prince sucks and so do you. So for all you people out there who think that Prince sucks, let me just say, go check out While My Guitar Gently Weeps when he was just setting in. Most of the crazy, and I'm going to get into it now for you guitar folks out there, most of the crazy stuff that he does is in that one solo. I mean, there's no limit to the stuff he did, but a lot of his tricks and a lot of his showmanship and just the incredible confidence and sexiness and magic that dude had and took through his music is in that video. But yeah, if you haven't got into Prince, man, if you like R&B, soul, hip hop, you like any of that stuff, then you got to go back and find some of these records. I mean, when he was, I think at 18 or 19 years old, he played every instrument and produced the record for a major label. Only Stevie Wonder had been able to do that. Nobody's allowed to, back then, especially when there was a few records came out a year and they were putting a lot of money on it. I mean, he came out of the gate beyond everybody else and he just kept working, devoted his whole life to his craft and his music and the road, and I could go on forever. Okay, let's talk music real quick, everybody. So here's what we were doing in there. I was just playing, basically I got E, I got G, and I got a little D, but it's not even about that funky little, it's not even about, you can do it here too, and then put that G on top. It's really about the fact that Prince had a whole drum set in his right hand. Say, kick drum. Say, there's a snare. You don't even have to have the notes. And I would tag those bass parts, but we talk about in another video, the pentatonic, E pentatonic, lots of passing tones. And he would stack that where he always had that octave. He played a bass, and the guitar would be one octave ahead. And he would always. I didn't have an octave pedal with me, but he put a lot of octave pedals on distortion too when he's playing the solos. But anyway, you get into it, and what I was doing was I hit this electro harmonics pedal, so lots of bends that are just nasty. Chase those down with those. Chase those down, and I tell you, if he got real into it, man, he kicked that flanger pedal, or somebody on the stage would kick that flanger pedal, and then you get. Lots of bends. You want to really hear that flanger pedal work, man, nail some harmonics in the middle of it and let it ring, and he would lift up the guitar, look sideways, and do something cool every time. But just let it, wow, just let it go. Folks, I'm not going to do a bunch of show and tell today, but I will say there's some amazing stuff you can dig into on YouTube. And some really, really beautiful things that were written after he passed away that showed the depths of his contribution to music, but also just the amount of soul and passion, even for music rights and for trying to think a little differently about the business. That man broke the mold in every way possible. So thanks for being here today. I would love to hear some Prince stories if you got them. And I read all the comments. So let's keep this thing together. Let's keep it rolling. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks.